ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the relaunch, the all-new, but all the same, Pro Wrestling Report. Damian Nelson sitting alongside the man who started it all with me back in 1998. March 1998 was the exact date. Carl Wesley Love Jr. Carl, welcome.
Hey, welcome back. Hey.
It's the last time they've had two black men in the same, probably every show.
We don't include Meathead. But
Well, he's not black, actually. He's Polish.
he's a third black.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, all of you watching us around the world on the World Wide Web, those of you watching us in our television markets of Milwaukee, Nome, and Topeka. This is the Pro Wrestling Report. What is the Pro Wrestling Report? It is your destination for all the latest news and rumors in the world of professional wrestling and our opinions. Not only our opinions, but your opinions. We don't claim to be insiders. We never have, never will. We are simply fans who talk with you about professional wrestling, and we thank you for inviting us into your homes. Also, thanks to Frank and Meathead, the hosts this week of Max Sports, a show that will continue as a separate entity now. But this, Carl, is the Pro Wrestling Report.
This is it live, baby.
And let's go right into it and talk about World Wrestling Entertainment. And it looks as if WWE is thinking about bringing back a team that became very popular in the late 90s, comprised of Rikishi and...
Oh, no. Not the...
Brian Lawler, yes. Too Cool might be coming back to WWE. Carl, what impact? Or is it even worth it?
I don't think it's worth it. It's just like Tatanka.
Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?
I mean, you ask yourself, why? You got new guys out there that are coming up. Why bring these old guys back?
Well, you sometimes got to go to what you know. I mean, look at a Gold Dust, who I realized the other day is in one of the top 5 gimmicks of all time.
Well, that's true. Gold Dust.
Under the Honky Tonk Man, because that's the greatest gimmick of all time.
True.
So you don't want to see him back?
I personally wouldn't want to see him back. I'd rather have Vince develop new talent and bring them up. That'll make it more exciting not for this WrestleMania, but like the WrestleMania down the line. 3 or 4 WrestleManias down, but he's gonna do what he wants to do. Period. He can bring them all back. He might as well, well, he brought Hulk Hogan back. I'll say Hulk Hogan.
Hey, brother. See No Evil, the movie starring Kane that WWE produced, the first production of WWE films, has ended its domestic run, which means it's run here in the States. For those of you watching us on the World Wide Web, we've got a lot of viewers across the pond, That's in
Across
Europe.
Lake Michigan?
No. The big pond. It's like on Coneheads. Remember when the phone rang? And Beldar, the phone. I will get this when I'm done. No, the big phone. But anyways, $15,032,800 is what the movie made. WWE still has yet to see a dime of that because they only start getting paid once all of the fees are paid for the prints of the films and for the distribution fees that were charged by the distributor, which escapes me at this time. They do have several new movies in the works. Obviously, The Marine, you've seen a lot about, and The Condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they're finishing development on 2 scripts for future movies as well. Unknown whether or not that will star WWE talent. But as they have said, all of their movies will star WWE talent, just so that they can capitalize on the popularity that is already there of their talent.
And why not? How do you do it against Soul Plane? Compared,
it may have beat Soul Plane because most of the people that went to see Soul Plane snuck in, I think.
That's true. Or they said it was out on DVD like 2 days later.
Speaking of sneaking in, she was once trash, now she will be a mom. Nydia, former superstar with WWE, apparently there were rumors that she may be coming back to WWE. Those rumors have been quashed by the fact that she is now with child. Nydia is pleased to announce that she's pregnant, and thus we won't see her at least for the next 9 to 12 months in WWE.
You know who's the daddy?
Her boyfriend.
Okay. No name.
No. Do you watch the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championships?
I watched it over the weekend with a friend of mine, Robert Smith, who's a UFC guy. We went down somebody, we can't name the place, but it was packed with nothing but a bunch of wrestlers with cauliflower ears, drinking beer.
What did you think of the show?
The show was a great show. UFC is a whole different sport. Matter of fact, Shamrock is going to be fighting, I think, next month. He's fighting once again.
Is he going to knuckle up?
He's going to. I hope he has an insurance card.
The reason I bring it up is because UFC is nipping at the heels of WWE as far as pay-per-view revenue goes, and we've all seen the successful ratings that they've had on Spike TV with the coupling of TNA. actually sometimes, many times, outdoing TNA in the ratings. UFC, a multi-million-dollar business, doing their best business ever. Their UFC 62 event at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, Nevada, was their highest-grossing pay-per-view revenue event and their highest-grossing ticket sales event. They did a $3 million gate off of 10,000 fans. WWE does gates like that, but off of 20,000 fans at a WrestleMania with a premium ticket price, or 60,000 fans at a non-WrestleMania event. So certainly a genre that is picking up on the sports entertainment aspect of things with WWE. Now, Carl, is it a threat? Is UFC something that should be looked at as a threat to WWE, or should there be a smart partnership formed between pro wrestling and UFC? And if so,
I don't think Vince would ever do that now that he owns WCW.
He could buy his
ECW.
competition. He's done that before.
He's done it before. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me, Damon. It wouldn't surprise me. But we got to look what Vince McMahon does. Vince McMahon puts on a show Monday night, Thursday nights, pay-per-views almost
Fridays.
every other Friday. Oh, oops, forgot about this show.
Different show. Yeah,
It's
Smackdown. That's what they call it, Smackdown.
me his favorite show.
It's a distinctly different show from Raw.
Yeah. Even I don't watch it anymore. But look
That's on regular TV. You shouldn't have any worries.
I can watch 10 minutes and that's it. I'm being honest with you. I'm being honest. Vince is doing what nobody else is really doing. I mean, he's putting on 3 or 4 shows and a pay-per-view every other month. So I'm going to say that you can't really compare sports entertainment with UFC because Vince has been up there for a while. And you're right. Vince, he has the uncanny ability to somehow, somewhere, like let me set the XFL, he can go in there and make some changes, and before you know it, he's owning UFC or whatever, even the rights to Soul Plane.
It could be interesting. Partnership, I think, and that was the next question I was going to ask. If so, does that diminish the realism of the Ultimate Fighting Championship? Because there's a lot of entertainment in the UFC as well, folks. I won't go as far as to say that the UFC is scripted like professional wrestling is at times, but it's certainly they certainly look at things from an entertainment aspect as well. And it's going to be interesting over the next few years to see if this sleeping giant, if you will, wakes up and overtakes WWE in their confusion or their short-sightedness on just ECW, Smackdown, and TNA. Because whether they tell you or not, they are looking at TNA and are aware of TNA as competition. Linda McMahon has admitted something that we've wanted to hear for a long time. And the recent earnings call, which we'll talk more about in a little while, Linda McMahon did say that SmackDown is indeed a troubled brand. Now, the question that was posed was, will SmackDown be converted or absorbed into another brand? The answer was no. However, Linda did say that SmackDown is certainly in trouble. The ratings are not where they used to be. Currently on UPN, they are preempted in many markets every week and air on Saturday afternoon, Saturday being the worst TV day of the week. So, there is hope with the relaunch on the CW network that will allow for less preemptions as the commitments for sports programming in most markets is not there on CW. But at the same time, the final admission that there is a problem with the SmackDown brand. The ratings are not where they've been. The stars are not who they were. Carl, creative way. What is one thing, and if it's not one thing, the several things that need to be done to correct the problem that is SmackDown?
Rename SmackDown and try to place it maybe on a Saturday night, or maybe even a Sunday.
At least watch TV day of the week.
Yeah, hey, you can take a chance. But I would say, and this is going to be probably one of the first predictions of the show this year, that they're going to cancel SmackDown.
We've only been gone 5 years.
5 years.
Pro Wrestling Report.
This is a 5-year prediction. I really predicted this 5 years ago.
Yeah, we'll have to search the archives.
The Matrix.
The interns.
But I would say rename it. Okay, place it on not on Monday, but maybe Wednesday. No, you can't. Yeah, Wednesday, because then you
That
have
is the only free night right now.
right because you have Monday, the Tuesday night,
It is.
and then you have.
The show currently known as SmackDown.
But they are in trouble. Like I said, Damon, I think they're going to cancel it out at the end of the year.
The reason Raw is the top-rated wrestling program on TV every week is because it is live. It is spontaneous. You don't know what's going to happen. There's no internet spoilers, none of that crap. TNA, ECW, live. Again, still has that shock factor. A lot of curious viewers tune in because they don't know what happens. SmackDown, you know what's going to happen, and if you read it and it's already a B show, you're not going to tune in. And SmackDown is not destination programming. SmackDown is something that's on Friday nights that, quite frankly, even me as a pretty devout wrestling fan, forgets that it's on many times until maybe 8 o'clock on a Friday night if I happen to be home flipping past the channel at that time. And then I really have no desire. I actually, last Friday night, watched the McMahon DVD while SmackDown was on.
See, what does that tell you? Yeah.
I was much more interested in seeing the McMahon DVD, which is great in my opinion, by the way. Left out a lot of key stuff, but still very good. I was more interested in watching that DVD than watching the broadcast of SmackDown. However, I was disappointed I didn't get to see King Booker. You know, all hail
King Booker. Didn't he knight somebody last week? Who did he? Before I turned it off after 10.
While it may seem he did, he did not. What I was going to say with that was the great Khali. Remember him? Probably had his on SmackDown, wrestling on, taking a bamboo shoot match or something like that. As going for knee surgery, apparently all the athleticism he's been experiencing or exhibiting has caused his knee to fail and will be going in for knee surgery. So it'll be a little while before we see the great Khali again on SmackDown. And WWE business in general, I talked about the McMahon DVD. In the last 3 months, they moved 1.1 million DVD units, their highest ever. WWE.com shop zone sales are amazingly ahead of the prior year, and a great year for the organization, WWE. Stock price went up on the day of the earnings announcement, almost $2. As a shareholder, that was good to see. But very good business WWE is doing. The things WWE does well, it's a solid company. They have no debt. They have a ton of cash. Never a problem is WWE, even when they lose money, which they did when they had to write off things such as the XFL, WWE New York, all that stuff, they still have all these cash reserves, which sometimes, and we're not turning this into a financial program, but sometimes turns into a problem for them because a lot of the investors want to see that money invested into the company or what have you. But a good period the last 3 months for WWE.
So how much is WWE worth now?
How much is it worth right now? I believe, I'm not exactly sure, I believe we're nearing $1 billion. The actual profits for the company this past quarter were somewhere just north of $15 million that they brought home.
So they can afford to kick SmackDown out of the way for it.
You're really on this SmackDown kick, huh? You want to just walk away from it and be done
I
with
watched
it, huh?
10 minutes of it, and that's it.
Let's move on to ECW News, Extreme Championship Wrestling on Tuesday nights on Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi.
Doctor Who returns September 29th, by the way, for those of you keeping score at home. Have you ever seen an episode? You don't even know what it is. Yeah. It's British.
Yeah.
Our viewers across the pond know exactly who Doctor Who is. He's on BBC something right now. I believe 1 or 2. One of the highest rated programs over there, by the way.
That's right. All right.
Be that as it may, Kurt Angle was released, folks. That's the huge news story to come out of last week. Kurt Angle and WWE mutually agreeing to part ways. Kurt Angle, several problems led into this, folks. First off, he is a walking time bomb as far as injuries go. Kurt Angle been nursing a lot of injuries for a long time. As you well heard him say, he won the Olympics with a broken freaking neck. And that mentality has carried him through the last 10 years in WWE, and the man has worked with tremendous injury and has not taken any time off. And we've seen the diminishing of Kurt Angle, not in his in-ring abilities or his in-ring talents, because he still delivers no matter the problem. But clearly, Kurt Angle 10 years ago to Kurt Angle now, two entirely different people physically, finally catching up with him, asking for his release from WWE, granted by WWE. Now, on top of that, there are rumors, and I won't say that this is true or false because I don't know, but that he's going through a divorce and he has a new baby on the way. So you tack that on top of all these other issues, professional issues and personal issues, what's he got, really? WWE has left the door wide open for Kurt Angle to return whenever he so chooses. There are many people speculating on the internet, and again, you never say never in this business, wrestling, but speculating on the internet that he may go to TNA, may spend some time in the Ring of Honor. Who knows what Kurt Angle may end up doing? I think one thing's for sure, with the arrangement that's been set up with WWE, I'm sure they protected themselves, and I'm sure that there is a no-compete clause, and I'm sure that Kurt Angle has no interest in appearing for a different organization because he has WWE running through his blood.
But you know, you hit on a good point. He might go
I just
to the big boys, the other big boys.
No, not gonna. Why? What's he gonna get out of it? Why work hurt for the lesser organization?
Attention. I mean, Kurt's the kind of person he's got to be up front. Now, he was supposed to be the franchise for ECW. That was a big promotion. But you're right. With the neck injury, I mean, I knew when he came back from that neck injury, I said, this is too much. Because most wrestlers, if the neck doesn't go, the knees go. I even questioned myself.
Brother.
Why are you doing this? Steve Austin, same thing, the knees are bad. Hulk Hogan, the knees bad.
It's a thread that blew up on the message board at MaxSportsOnline.com. You can visit the website, MaxSportsOnline.com, again, that I mentioned, and take a look at that stuff on the message board and chime in. Let us know what you think, folks. It's an interactive playground, and that's another thing that this show, Pro Wrestling Report, prides itself on, is we are your interactive destination. We do not distance ourselves from you, the viewers. We let you participate in the show, which is the stack of emails that we'll be getting to in the next few minutes here. Kurt Angle, gone from WWE. Long-term impact, who knows? When you look at some of the other big names that left, Bret Hart, Ultimate Warrior, Goldberg, I'm sorry, his twin, Brock Lesnar. You know, WWE is going to keep pushing on without Kurt Angle, but it is a substantial blow for a company man to be gone just that fast.
Let me ask you, what's happening with Brock Lesnar?
He is with MMA. It's a fighting organization similar to K1, UFC, whatever, and is appearing with them now.
So I thought at one time Brock's supposed to go to the Japanese wrestling
He
pro
did.
league and then come back to WWE.
There were talks by WWE's own admission of Brock coming back. Those talks fell through. I fully expect at some point to see Brock Lesnar back in WWE, but as the years tick by, you're getting less and less Brock Lesnar because a man who was one of the most amazing athletes in the history of professional wrestling, whether you like him or not, is not going to be able to do what he was doing at 25 when he's 30 and 35.
True.
And we're a couple of years removed from the last time we saw Brock in a ring wrestle at all on a national scale. And I'm a big Brock fan. I'm a Brock Lesnar mark, but I don't think he can deliver or will be able to deliver what he once did. ECW got good news this past week as Sci-Fi renewed their TV deal, which was originally a 12-week summer deal that expired last week, all the way through the end of December 2007. So a home on Sci-Fi has ECW for the next year plus. Very good news for them. And it's a long-term deal that they needed to continue to create that revenue stream for WWE, the company. Taz apparently has tried out to be a broadcaster on a radio station in New York, WFNY-FM. Taz thinks he can do radio.
Why? Why, Taz?
One Night Stand this past year got approximately 12,000 more buys than last year's venture on pay-per-view, 268. Last year was the number of buys, 268,000 at $34.95. This year is 80,000 at $39.95. And I'm the only one who didn't notice WWE raised the pay-per-view prices again to $40.
Yeah.
And the only one I've ordered is SummerSlam in the last little while here, but so that's a pretty penny. But the reason they raised the price is to compete with boxing matches, UFC. I mean, they're undervalued in their opinion for the pay-per-view events. And if they can still achieve similar numbers, slightly less numbers at the higher rate, ultimately they're making more money.
And they're putting on more pay-per-views compared to boxing.
They're up to 15 a year now.
So, I mean, that's amazing what Vince is doing.
That's ECW news, folks. Let's move on into TNA, Total Nonstop Action. Big news out of that organization, folks, is Monty Brown, the man who features the Pounce, period, and Ron the Truth Killings, K-Quick, have both allowed their contract to expire and do not plan to renew their contract with TNA, according to reports that we've received. Now there's rampant speculation that Monty Brown and Ron Killings are both people of interest by WWE. I am not the biggest Monty Brown fan. He's got charisma. I just don't know how he fits into the WWE equation.
Not with Vince.
They tried with K-Quick. He's still rapping. It was lame when he did it in WWF. It is not my cup of tea in TNA. And really, you're going to miss him.
So what
He's
if
got
he
great
changes
athletic skills. Let me make
he
sure
does.
that's said. He's got great athletic skills.
What if he
Talented
changes
individual.
his look? You know, with the
Well,
braids
he's
and everything.
black, so a lot of people think he has to rap.
Yeah, that's true. But cut the hair, maybe get a new look.
He could keep the hair's cut.
It's
A
cut?
little bit. It's not as wild as it was in WWE. But they both do have a 90-day no-compete clause unless they choose not to honor the commitments of their contract, in which that 90-day no-compete turns to a 6-month no-compete clause. And what no-compete clauses mean is that you can't wrestle, perform, appear anywhere else within that window of time, just to protect the brand from which they came. There's a movie coming out from MTV. Jackass 2 will be released sometime in the very near future. TNA is teaming up on the promotion of that project.
Who's starring that one? George Bush?
Different title, same concept. Celebrities are apparently in the plans for the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. That's TNA's first pay-per-view outside of Nashville or Orlando. It's going to be happening in Detroit, Michigan in October, just coming up in a little while here on pay-per-view. Big plans they have, including a fan festival for that weekend, and you can get more information by linking to them through MaxSportsOnline.com. We have everything but porn at MaxSportsOnline.com, and we're working on that.
That's a meathead.
Did the legal team talk to you yet?
No, that's meathead's territory.
Speaking of internet shows and internet websites, TNA's internet webcast, Global Impact, has apparently been put on a hiatus, and we are unsure at this point in time when and if it may return to the internet waves. Is that what they're called? Internet waves?
Internet waves. The wavies.
Maybe they didn't achieve, the download numbers that we've achieved here on this very program. Well, what do we call the Pro Wrestling Report this week? But MaxSportsOnline.com celebrating well over 175,000 downloads since February of this year. And we can't thank you guys who watch the show enough for that support. And keep in mind, we are a multimedia circus. You can catch my wrap-ups of wrestling programming, at the very least Raw and ECW on Mondays and Tuesdays. And when the opportunity allows, TNA and Smackdown on Thursdays and Fridays, and of course always your pay-per-view destination. Miss the show? Come on into the wrap-up and we will give you what happened on the show and a bit of opinion on what happened as well. Speaking of opinions, let's go to yours. It's time to read a couple of emails, electronic mail messages. This one's from Seamus O'Shilbane. We got an email from this person last week who thanks us for answering his question last week. The question now is, do you think WWE needs to find great face wrestlers such as Rock Austin? All their 5-star wrestlers are heels. Also, is it easier to be a good heel than to be a good face?
You know what? Here's the time right now, yes, to find some more wrestlers. Is that my cell phone?
I don't know what that was, actually. I think it was something
It's a
called
ghost,
back
huh?
there.
Here's the time because
The ghost of PWR past.
we're getting ready for WrestleMania. So yes, I mean, Angle's gone, Austin gone, Rock gone.
WrestleMania.
Let's get something started. Let's get some new faces in there and hype it up again, like the old school WrestleMania, but with the newer stars or the veterans that are coming up. To answer the question, yes.
Yeah, and whether or not it's easier to be a good heel or to be a good face, I think it's easier to be who you are. Why was Austin so popular? He was allowed to be who he was. Why was Rock so popular? He was allowed to be who he was. And you let that happen, and you've got a star on your hands, as long as people like what these people are. Next one's from, thank you very much for that email, from across the pond, by the way, in Roscommon, Ireland. This one comes from Craig Porter. Craig Porter, again from across the pond, says, one question from Cumbria, United Kingdom. After Christian Cage, having more than proved himself as a main eventer in TNA, do you think that the WWE pushed the wrong half of Edge and Christian? And do you think we'll see Christian Cage back in WWE? I doubt that very seriously. The reason that I asked the former part of the question was because it seems to have taken Edge longer to find his feet as a singles competitor, whereas Christian took the bull by the horns and ran with his opportunity at TNA from day one. As for the latter part of the question, I personally think that TNA are really finding their own identity and would prefer Cage to stay there long term. Thank you for reading Craig Porter. I'm a Christian fan. I think I said Edge and it's Christian. I'm a Christian fan. Edge, I'm an Edge fan as well. I was also a fan of Edge and Christian, ENC, with 5-second pose. But I think there was a tremendous amount of talent there. Now remember what WWE did with Christian before he left out of frustration. Had that great promo he cut on John Cena in Madison Square Garden with Vince McMahon in the ring, the day Christian became the man in WWE. From there, he got a little bit of a push, itsy bitsy tiny push, and then dropped, just like a box of bricks. Then made the decision to go to TNA. Christian took the ball, ran with it in TNA because they allowed him to, and he didn't have the shadow of others to work under.
Let me ask you this. Who pops the crowd more, Christian or Edge?
Edge. Right far. I mean, he's rated R. And he's a superstar.
Now, why did it take so long for Edge to actually gain the title, to hold the title?
I think Edge was right place, right time, winning the Money in the Bank, which really had no meaning when it was won, but then utilizing it and a well-written angle at the New Year's Revolution pay-per-view, getting the title for a little while, I think it was a month, and then having it taken away. I think a lot of people were taken aback by how popular Edge was as champion, and now we see the rewards for that.
Will he headline?
I think Edge can certainly headline a WrestleMania, I think. This one is from Steven Bustamante from Phoenix, Arizona. Hey guys, love the show. I have a two-part question. One, with the surprise departure of Kurt Angle, do you ever think he will come back, like after he gets everything sorted out in his body, or is he just too torn down to return? I think he's certainly going to come back. I don't think he's had a formal farewell. I don't think that Kurt Angle is a person who will sit home and rest and not allow himself to work. I think as soon as the situation's right for him personally and professionally, he's going to be coming back and be welcomed with open arms into WWE. And last week, you guys were talking about Rock, and my question, not cocaine, but The Rock, and my question is, because he wasn't at the homecoming show for Raw, did he leave WWE on bad terms? And if not, what would it take to entice him to come back? Or is he gone Hollywood? There are some issues that had arisen between The Rock and WWE. I guess him and Vince McMahon weren't talking for a little while. Everything seems fine now. The Rock's done with wrestling. He's got no needs from the wrestling world. And the wrestling world really has no needs to go back to him. Now, if The Rock showed up on a Raw randomly one Monday night, as he used to many times past, I think that would be great. But The Rock, you know, he's deep in this movie thing, and he has gone Hollywood.
He's got a movie coming out too, I think, a football movie.
Gridiron Grunton, or something like that. I don't know. The next one's from Sharon Brown. Sharon Brown, who do you think will be the GM of Raw and why? Oh, I'm sorry, this is not. I gave a wrong name. This is from Daniel across the pond in England. Hi, who do you think will be the GM of Raw and why? Well, Vince McMahon has pretty much got his foot etched in the GM-ship of Raw, and I don't think he's going to release those reins anytime soon. But when he does, I would love to see Eric Bischoff come back.
Right, yeah. So what's Eric doing now?
He is partnering with WWE on a Saco energy drink and working on all kinds of other projects on his own.
Chilling like a villain.
He was a villain, yes. Chilling like a villain. It's an interesting use of words there, Carl. Let's thank you very much for your emails, folks. The way you get your email read on the air, and we didn't get a chance to get to all of them this week in this show, just send us an email. You see the link on the homepage of MaxSportsOnline.com. Send us an email. We review all emails. We respond to most, and we read a lot of them on air. So feel free to interact with us, folks. We are here for you to get your voice out and answer your questions. The other thing we do here on this particular program is give you our top fives. We go for our five. Oh, shoot. Carl has his top five written down. For the first time since we started this program in 1998, Carl has his top five written down. Ladies and gentlemen, Carl Love with his top five. The top five we feel. Talents, names, people involved in professional wrestling. Go ahead, Carlos.
Top five. Number 5, Soul Plane. Number 4.
Did you ever see the movie legally?
I saw it once and used it as a...
Is it difficult to watch with those people getting up and walking in front of you?
Get one of those. Number 4, Snakes on a Plane. Number 3, Don Knotts. I believe he's still alive.
He's dead.
He's in Racine. Number 2, Ric Flair. And number 1, the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, this is very program.
PWR.
PWR, we're back.
PWR. That's another show.
It was, actually.
That's it.
Thank you very much, Carl, for your top five. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the definitive top five, the one all of you clamor to your television sets to see. My top five. Number 5 on the list. We're actually in no particular order. I'd like to give this top five. The rated R superstar Edge is on my top 5. Kurt Angle recently departed from WWE. The number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, Jeff Hardy. And also on my top 5 list, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the sweetest, greatest finishing move in the history of professional wrestling, Petey Williams from TNA, and King Booker. Because I believe we should all hail King Booker. All hail King Booker. Great gimmick. The thing carrying Smackdown right now since JBL is in wrestling.
You know, I'm surprised. I thought you would never watch TNA.
Oh, I watch it every week.
You watch it?
Great wrestling. Phenomenal wrestling product on TNA. Oh, it's great. It's a 60-minute adrenaline rush. How can I miss it?
Okay.
The only problem I have with it is Don West. Keep making that public. Hire me. I can do better. Just saying. So that's it, folks. Also, you can join us on the World Wide Web, MaxSportsOnline.com. We are now on MySpace as well. Also on Google Video, Yahoo Video, YouTube, iFilm, all kinds of websites you can find the Max Sports and Pro Wrestling Report television shows. Thank you for tuning in this week, folks. Carl, it's good to be back.
We'll be back.
Oh,
After 5 years.
5 years off the air was this particular program. Now we are back. Join us every week right here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Thank you for tuning in on television markets, and also thank you for tuning in across the world here on Pro Wrestling Report. See you soon.